Commander Maya Patel stared through the view screen of her diplomatic vessel as the crystalline planet of Nexus Prime loomed before her. The world's surface sparkled like a massive geode, its cities carved into massive crystal formations that reached toward the stars. This was humanity's first official contact with the Nexians, and failure wasn't an option. Approaching designated landing coordinates, announced Arya, her ship's AI. Warning, detecting unusual energy signatures in the upper atmosphere. Maya frowned at the readings. Define unusual. Before Arya could respond, the ship shuddered violently. Purple lightning crackled across the hull, and every system began to fail simultaneously. Maya's fingers flew across the controls, but nothing responded. They were going down. The crystal spires grew larger as they plummeted toward the surface. Maya activated emergency protocols, but the ship's anti-grav systems remained stubbornly offline. The ground rushed up to meet them, and she braced for impact. The crash was surprisingly gentle. Rather than shattering against the crystal surface, the ship sank into what appeared to be a semi-solid crystal foam that absorbed most of the impact. Maya took a moment to catch her breath before grabbing her emergency kit and diplomatic credentials. Arya, status report. All systems compromised by unknown energy field. Unable to establish contact with Earth Command. Recommend diplomatic approach to local authorities. Maya stepped out of the ship into an alien world. The air shimmed with microscopic crystal particles that caught the light of 3 suns overhead. Everything hummed with a subtle vibration that she could feel in her bones. She didn't have long to take in the view. A delegation of Nexians approached, tall, humanoid beings with crystalline skin that shifted colors like oil on water. Their leader stood at least 9 feet tall, wearing elaborate crystal armor that amplified their already imposing presence. Commander Maya Patel, she announced, raising her hands in a peaceful gesture. I come representing the United Earth Government to establish diplomatic relations. The leader's voice resonated like crystal chimes. I am General K.R. Stahl. Your arrival was expected, though your method of entry was unconventional. Expected? Maya's diplomatic training kicked in, warning bells ringing in her mind. I was under the impression this was first contact. The Emperor foresaw your coming. He awaits you in the crystal spire. Follow. Maya had little choice but to comply. They led her through streets of living crystal, past Nexians who stopped to stare at the alien in their midst. The crystal spire lived up to its name, a massive tower that seemed to pierce the very sky, its faceted surfaces reflecting and refracting sunlight in dazzling patterns. The throne room was a cathedral of crystal, with patterns of light dancing across every surface. On a throne of pure diamond sat Emperor Vexthor, his crystalline form pulsing with internal light that spoke of immense power. Commander Maya Patel, his voice echoed through the chamber. Your arrival fulfills an ancient prophecy. Our seers foresaw a star traveler whose union with my son would bridge 2 worlds and prevent a great catastrophe. Maya's diplomatic mask slipped for just a moment. I'm sorry, Union. You will marry Prince Zarek and cement an alliance between our peoples, the Emperor declared. Or refuse, and watch as our worlds descend into inevitable war. From the shadows emerged a figure that took Maya's breath away. Prince Zarek's crystalline form was more delicate than his father's, with swirling patterns of blue and violet beneath his translucent surface. He studied Maya with equal curiosity. This is madness, Maya protested. I'm here to establish basic diplomatic relations, not arrange marriages. You misunderstand, Emperor Vexthor's voice hardened. This is not a request. Our seers are never wrong. The union will happen, or both our civilizations will suffer the consequences. You have until tomorrow's 3rd sunrise to decide. Maya looked between the Emperor's unyielding expression and the prince's unreadable one. Her mission had just become far more complicated than any diplomatic training could have prepared her for. The fate of 2 civilizations now rested on her answer to a proposal she never wanted. As guards led her to her quarters, Maya's mind raced. There had to be more going on here than a simple prophesied marriage. And she had less than a day to figure out what game was really being played before she had to make a decision that would affect billions of lives on both worlds. Maya couldn't sleep. Her quarters, though luxurious, felt like a prison cell. The walls pulsed with that same crystalline energy that had disabled her ship, and she suspected they were monitoring her every move. As she paced, the events of the day played through her mind like a bad dream. A soft chiming interrupted her thoughts. The door dissolved, revealing Prince Zarek. In the privacy of her quarters, she could better appreciate the ethereal grace of his crystalline form. "I apologize for my father's directness," he said, his voice carrying harmonics that made the room's crystals resonate. "But there are things you need to understand before you make your decision. Like why your people disabled my ship and forced this choice on me." Maya crossed her arms. "Or perhaps why your father thinks an arranged marriage will prevent war." Zarek's surface rippled with colors that Maya was beginning to recognize as emotional indicators. The prophecy isn't just about marriage. It speaks of trials, tests that will prove whether our peoples can truly unite. My father believes that by forcing the issue, he's preventing a greater catastrophe. Tests. Maya's military training kicked in, assessing potential challenges. What kind of tests? 3 trials of compatibility. Mind, body, and spirit. No human has ever attempted them. Many Nexians have died trying. His colors darkened. If you accept the proposal, you must face them. If you refuse. He left the threat unspoken. Maya approached the window, looking out over the crystalline city. "And what do you think about all this? Are you just going to quietly accept your father marrying you off to an alien? I've had decades to prepare for this moment. The real question is, what will you do, Commander Patel?" Before she could answer, alarms blared throughout the city. The crystal walls pulsed red, and Maya could feel vibrations of panic through the floor. "What's happening?" The Shattered Ones, Zarek's voice carried genuine fear. "They're attacking the outer districts. They oppose any alliance with other species. This wasn't supposed to happen yet." Maya's command training took over. "Take me there. If I'm supposed to prove myself, let me do it by helping your people." The prince hesitated only a moment before nodding. They raced through corridors that shifted and reformed around them, creating the fastest path to the surface. As they emerged, Maya got her first look at the Shattered Ones, Nexians whose crystalline forms were cracked and distorted, their inner light corrupted into something dark and chaotic. They were targeting civilian structures, their touch causing perfect crystal to crack and splinter. Nexian security forces fought back with weapons that fired concentrated light, but they were outnumbered. "Their corruption spreads through contact," Zarek explained. "We can't let them reach the central city." Maya analyzed the situation rapidly. "Your forces are too spread out. We need to coordinate them, create a containment zone." She pointed to a tall spire. "Can you get me up there? And I need a way to communicate with your security teams." Zarek pressed a crystal shard into her hand. It merged with her skin, creating a direct neural link to the Nexian communication network. The sensation was overwhelming at first, thousands of crystalline minds all connected in a vast matrix of thought and emotion. "Focus," Zarek's voice anchored her. "Direct their movements through the network. They'll follow your commands." Maya had never experienced anything like it. She could see the entire battlefield from multiple perspectives simultaneously, feel the position of every defender and attacker. Using this enhanced awareness, she began coordinating the defense, moving units with precision that would have been impossible through conventional means. Under her guidance, the security forces began to turn the tide. They herded the Shattered Ones into killing zones, using concentrated light attacks to overwhelm their corrupted forms. Within an hour, the attack was contained. As the last Shattered One fell, Maya became aware of Emperor Vexthor's presence in the neural network. His mental voice carried both approval and calculation. You've passed the first trial, the test of mind. You demonstrated not only tactical ability but the capacity to merge with our collective consciousness without losing yourself. There are still 2 trials to come, should you accept the proposal. Maya disconnected from the network, the crystal shard detaching from her skin. She felt drained but exhilarated. That was a test. People could have died. The attack was real, Zarek assured her. But how we handle real crises reveals more than any artificial test could. Your actions saved many lives today. Looking over the battlefield, Maya saw Nexian civilians emerging from shelter, their crystalline forms glowing with relief and gratitude. She had helped protect these people, alien as they were. But was she ready to bind herself to their civilization permanently? The third sun was rising. Time was running out for her decision, and she had a feeling the next 2 trials would make this one look easy. The fate of 2 civilizations hung in the balance, and Maya was starting to suspect there was far more to this prophecy than anyone was telling her. The second trial came at dawn. Maya stood in the crystal arena, a massive amphitheater where thousands of Nexians gathered to watch. She wore a crystalline suit of armor that moved like a second skin, interfacing directly with her nervous system. The trial of body, Emperor Vexthor announced from his elevated platform. You must defeat the champion of the Imperial Guard in single combat. The champion emerged, a towering Nexian warrior named Karval whose crystalline form rippled with barely contained power. In his 4 arms, he wielded energy weapons that hummed with deadly purpose. Begin, the Emperor commanded. Karval attacked with lightning speed. Maya barely activated her armor's defensive systems in time, deflecting a blow that would have shattered normal matter. The neural interface let her move with enhanced speed and strength, but Karval had centuries of experience. As they fought, Maya noticed something odd. The champion's attacks were precise, calculated, almost like a training exercise. He was testing her responses, analyzing her capabilities. This wasn't just combat, it was an evaluation. She caught a reflection in one of the arena's faceted walls, General Karstal speaking urgently with Prince Zarek, both looking concerned. Something was wrong. Maya's momentary distraction cost her. Karval's weapon struck her armor, sending crackling energy through her body. She stumbled, and he pressed his advantage. The crowd roared. Then she saw it, a subtle pattern in the crystal floor, different from the surrounding structure. Her time studying Nexian architecture hadn't been wasted. That pattern meant. Maya dropped and struck the floor with her armor's enhanced strength. The crystal resonated at exactly the right frequency, creating a feedback loop with Karval's weapons. They overloaded, giving her the opening she needed. 3 rapid strikes, using the combat moves she'd learned from the neural network during yesterday's battle. Karval went down, and the crowd erupted in cheers. But Maya was already moving, running toward Prince Zarek. The shattered ones, they're inside the palace, aren't they? His color patterns confirmed her fears. How did you know? This trial was rushed. Your father wanted to complete it before. An explosion rocked the arena. Part of the palace crystal structure began to crack, corrupted energy spreading through its lattice. The prophecy, Maya realized. It's not about preventing war between our peoples. There's something inside the palace they want to reach, isn't there? Zarek's voice was grim. The heart of Nexus. The source of our world's power, and our connection to the crystal matrix. If the shattered ones corrupt it, both our worlds die, General Karstal finished, joining them. The prophecy speaks of 2 becoming one to protect the heart. We thought it meant marriage, but... Another explosion. The corruption was spreading faster. Take me to the heart, Maya demanded. Now. They raced through disintegrating corridors, fighting off shattered ones who had infiltrated deep into the palace. Maya's armor, still linked to her nervous system, responded instantly to every threat. They reached the central chamber to find Emperor Vexthor battling the leader of the Shattered Ones, a massive, twisted creature that had once been his brother. "You cannot stop this," the corrupted being rasped. "The heart must be destroyed. These aliens will corrupt our purity just as they did on 1,000 other worlds." Maya's mind raced. The neural network, the armor, the heart, it was all connected. "Your brother," she called to the Emperor. "What was his role before he was corrupted?" "Chief Scientist," Vexthor grunted, holding back another attack. "He discovered the ruins, learned of other civilizations destroyed by their own crystal matrices. Because they tried to control the power alone," Maya finished. She looked at Zarek. "That's what the prophecy really means. Not marriage, synthesis. A true joining of different perspectives to stabilize the heart." Understanding dawned in Zarek's color patterns. Together, they approached the heart, a massive crystal nucleus pulsing with pure energy. The corruption was spreading toward it, cracks appearing in reality itself. "If we do this," Maya said, "there's no going back. Our minds, our civilizations, everything changes." Zarek's response was simple: together. They placed their hands on the heart as the corruption reached it. Human consciousness met crystalline network in an explosion of light and understanding. For a moment, Maya experienced existence as the Nexians did, all connected, all one, yet each unique. And through her, they experienced human individuality, creativity, and adaptability. The heart stabilized, its power now flowing through both human and Nexian patterns. The corruption recoiled, unable to overcome the new harmony of different perspectives working as one. The Shattered One's leader screamed in denial as his form began to stabilize, the corruption burning away. "What have you done?" "Created something new," Maya and Zarek spoke in unison, their minds linked but distinct. As the prophecy foretold. The third trial, it turned out, hadn't been about passing a test. It had been about understanding that sometimes the greatest strength comes not from victory or domination, but from learning to become something greater than the sum of your parts. The merging with the heart changed everything. Maya could feel the pulse of Nexus Prime through the crystal matrix, while the Nexians experienced human emotions with newfound intensity. But not everyone welcomed this evolution. Earth's response was swift and hostile. "You've been compromised," Commander Patel, Admiral Chen's hologram declared in the Emergency Council meeting. "We're declaring you unfit for duty and classifying Nexus Prime as a Class 1 threat. The fleet is already en route." "You don't understand," Maya argued, her consciousness simultaneously present in both the council chamber and the crystal matrix. "The synthesis saved both our worlds. The heart's power could revolutionize human technology, medicine, everything. It's made you something other than human," the Admiral countered. "The Security Council has made their decision. You have 24 hours to sever your connection to the alien matrix and return to Earth, or we'll consider you an enemy combatant." After the transmission ended, Zarek approached Maya in the heart chamber. "My father faces similar opposition. The conservative houses fear change. They're calling for him to step down, claiming he's betrayed our purity by allowing this merger." Through their shared connection, Maya felt his concern. The synthesis had created something unprecedented, a bridge between two fundamentally different forms of consciousness. But it had also threatened the power structures of both civilizations. The first attacks came at midnight. Earth Special Forces teams, using stolen Nexian technology, attempted to breach the palace defenses. Simultaneously, traditionalist Nexian houses launched an uprising in the outer districts. Maya and Zarek coordinated the defense through the crystal matrix, their merged consciousness allowing them to respond with unprecedented speed and precision. But they couldn't be everywhere at once. "They're pushing us toward the heart chamber," Maya realized, analyzing the attack patterns. "Both sides want to destroy it, end the synthesis before it can spread. If they succeed, the backlash will tear both our worlds apart, Zarek warned. The Matrix is too deeply integrated now. We need to show them the truth. Maya had an idea. Using their connection to the heart, they began broadcasting their shared consciousness, not just to the Nexians, but through subspace channels to the approaching Earth fleet. Every human and Nexian within range experienced a glimpse of the synthesis. They felt the terror of isolation that had driven the Nexians to seek connection through their crystal matrix. They understood the human fear of losing individuality, of being absorbed into something greater. And they experienced the beautiful balance that Maya and Zarek had discovered, unity without uniformity, connection without loss of self. The effect was immediate. Many of the attackers stopped, overwhelmed by the revelation. Others fought harder, desperate to prevent what they saw as the end of their way of life. In orbit, the Earth fleet's commanders experienced the broadcast. Some ships broke formation, refusing to attack. Others maintained their course, weapons charged. The fate of two civilizations balanced on a knife's edge. Maya and Zarek stood before the heart, its energy pulsing through them. Through their shared consciousness, they felt the approach of something vast and ancient, other crystal matrices awakening across the galaxy, responding to the new harmony they had created. "They're like us," Maya whispered. "All these worlds, trying to find the balance between unity and individuality. We're not the first to attempt this synthesis, but we might be the first to succeed." The matrix filled with new information, star maps, coordinates, ancient records. The ruins that had driven Zarek's uncle to madness weren't warnings of destruction, but markers left by those who had tried before, hoping someone would eventually find the right path. As the Earth fleet entered weapon range and the palace defenses strained against the combined assault, Maya and Zarek prepared to take their synthesis to the next level. The future of both their peoples, and perhaps all civilization in the galaxy, would be decided in the next few moments. The heart pulsed with blinding energy, and Maya felt her consciousness expanding beyond anything she had ever imagined. The real revolution, she realized, wasn't about politics or power. It was about transcending the boundaries that kept sentient beings from reaching their full potential. The question was, were their civilizations ready for such a profound transformation? The heart chamber erupted in blinding light as Maya and Zarek channeled its power. Through their merged consciousness, they reached out to every mind in the system, human and Nexian alike. Not just sharing experiences now, but offering a choice. The ancient records flowing through the matrix revealed the pattern, civilizations reaching the brink of transformation, then falling back into conflict. Fear of change, of loss, of the unknown. But this time would be different. This time, they had something their predecessors lacked, the perfect balance between human adaptability and Nexian unity. Admiral Chen's flagship entered firing range. "This is your final warning, Commander Patel. Stand down or we'll be forced to fire." Maya projected her consciousness directly into the bridge. She appeared as a hologram, but every officer present could feel her presence. "Look at your sensors, Admiral. Really look." The ship's instruments revealed what the naked eye couldn't see, a cascade of crystalline energy spreading through space itself, creating new patterns of reality. The synthesis wasn't just changing Nexus Prime, it was evolving the fundamental structure of local spacetime. "What you fear isn't the loss of humanity," Maya said, her voice resonating with the harmonics of the crystal matrix. "It's the fear of its ultimate expression. We're not losing ourselves, we're becoming what we were always meant to be." Through their connection, Zarek showed them the truth about the Nexians. They hadn't always been crystalline beings. Their ancestors had faced a similar choice millennia ago, embracing transformation to survive their dying world. The crystal matrix had been just the first step in a longer evolution. In the city below, the fighting stopped as the same revelation spread. The conservative houses saw their own history reflected back at them, how fear of change had held them back from their true potential. The shattered ones, those who had rejected unity, began to heal as they finally understood the balance they had been missing. The heart pulse grew stronger, its energy reaching toward Earth itself. Not to change or dominate, but to offer possibility. Through the Matrix, humans could retain their individuality while gaining access to a vast network of shared knowledge and experience. Nexians could learn to value personal growth while maintaining their precious connections. The prophecy wasn't about preventing war. Maya and Zarek spoke together, their voices carrying through space. It was about showing us that evolution doesn't have to mean loss. Unity doesn't require sacrifice of self. We can become more than we are while remaining true to who we've always been. Admiral Chen lowered his weapon. Across his fleet, crews watched in awe as the crystalline energy danced through space, offering glimpses of what their future could be. The revolution they had feared wasn't an ending, but a beginning. In the heart chamber, Maya and Zarek's consciousness expanded one final time, touching minds across two worlds. Not demanding, not forcing, but offering a choice: remain as they were, or take the next step in their species' evolution together. The response began slowly, first from the younger generations of both species, then spreading as understanding grew. The heart's energy flowed through volunteers, creating the first wave of a new kind of civilization. Not human, not Nexian, but something gloriously, uniquely both. Emperor Vexthor was the first of the old guard to step forward, followed by a surprising ally, Admiral Chen himself. Perhaps, the Admiral said, it's time for humanity to stop fearing the unknown and start embracing it instead. The transformation would take time. Both civilizations would need to adapt, to learn, to grow. But as Maya looked out over the crystalline city, now pulsing with both Nexian and human energy patterns, she knew they had succeeded where countless others had failed. They had found the balance between unity and individuality, between preservation and progress, between maintaining who they were and becoming who they could be. The true revolution wasn't in the physical changes, but in the understanding that diversity and unity were not opposing forces, they were the essential components of cosmic evolution itself. In the end, the alien monarch's ultimatum had never been about marriage. It had been about catalyzing the next step in the growth of two civilizations. As the crystal matrix hummed with new possibilities, Maya and Zarek stood together, architects not of an ending, but of a beginning that would ripple across the galaxy for millennia to come.